DBU. DBU.
I'm not going with you there. But they're here, though.
They're here.
They're here.
We've got a good portion of DBU.
I called our group chat in the text DBU.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, okay. Matt Trent, we're back. Are You Serious Sports, Blake Ruffino. And we've got a large portion of the newest version, the newest DBUs, Jay Ward, and the newest addition to that secondary, Jarrick Bernard-Converse. Gentlemen, thank you. How we doing?
I'm doing
Everything good?
Thank you for having me on.
Good, yeah, man. No problem. Let's talk about, and we were joking about DBU, but being in that secondary for LSU is a big deal. What have you seen from that unit here in the early goings with Brian Kelly and this new staff? How is DBU getting back to DBU of old?
DBU getting back because we hit the portal hard. We got Jarrick, we got Seven Bank, Makai, and then we got a couple old guys that been here for a year or two, and they all know what the standard is and how it should be held. So we take that very serious.
I would say, like Jay said, he hit the portal, brought some guys in with some experience to get that veteran leadership back in the room, and feel like everybody knows the standard. It's DBU, so it's held to a high standard opportunity.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Jarrick, when you hit the portal and LSU reached out, was that one of the main reasons that you're here now, is because of that DBU legacy, and you knew that coming here was going to make you better as a defensive back?
Yes, sir, of course. And it's home for me, so that just added to my decision on coming here.
So much talent in that secondary, too.
Well, an experience. Guys, and I know this and you know this. Jay, you've been here for a little while. Jarrick, you've played, 46 consecutive starts in a row. There's not a lot that you haven't seen, right? I would assume that there's not going to be a Saturday that you haven't seen something before. Now, maybe somebody gets this or gets that, but you've already seen this before. How much better is, and look, Greg Brooks and Joe Fouché, they've had a lot of experience too. Is the communication easier for you guys coming in because you've seen so much and you've played a lot of SEC football or Big 12 football, whatever it be? Does that make it a lot easier to communicate when you are out there on the field because you know and have seen so much?
To me, yes, because guys have actual game reps. They know what's coming. They've seen the film, and I feel like reps is the main thing, and game reps is so that adds to the experience.
Jay, you moved to safety. Now, I'm going to say this. We said it on the podcast. I was the CEO of your fan club, okay, because every single week it was a new thing that you were doing, man. The ball skills, you getting to the ball, interceptions. Talk on that, man. That's got to come from your communication and things that you're doing. The last part of the year, and I said this a couple weeks ago, I went back and watched Bama, Arkansas, Ole Miss, and you're always around the football. Take us there. Is it communication or just your ball skills? How are you able to do that at such a high level?
It's all about wanting to. And I wanted, my sophomore year, I wanted to play even though I was hurt. I wanted to be out there and play with my brothers who, been on the sideline, they just ain't me.
Right. Well, I remember, what was it, the last game in 2020, the pick six and the interception. I got to ask you, as a fat guy, what's it like having a pick six touchdown? Are you trying, what's it like? I'm about to score. I'd be freaking out. I'd be hyperventilating before I even scored. But in all seriousness, take us through that, man. What is it like to be able to do that and contribute to your team in such a high level like that?
Pick six, I love to grab a pick six. Every time I get the ball in my hand, I want to score. So,
did you walk up to the coach and be like, "I told you, I should have been on offense, coach"? Look at these hands.
I tell coach that all the time.
That's a natural DB thing. Natural DB thing. Tell me too, Jay, about the transition from cornerback to safety. I found it interesting a couple weeks ago with C.J. Gardner-Johnson of the Saints. He said DB is the toughest position to play because we regress to progress. And I thought that was really, really insightful. But with safety, you've got everything right in front of you now. You pretty much react to the ball in the air versus backpedaling, reacting to a receiver. Has that been the easiest part, and that's really where you get to show your athleticism?
Yeah, I think safety is more easier than corner because corner is hard. I got to get on that. But my transition wasn't hard for me at all, though.
Jarrick, he said that that's the toughest position in the game, and it kind of really is, right? Like, but you've been known. Like, I was looking up some of the stats, and just because you could see the highlights, but sometimes when you see the highlights, you look at the stats. Man, 11 pass breakups last year.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Walk us through that. Are you gaining more confidence, or what is it? Because, man, we don't see that much. I mean, it's almost one a game, right? And that's kind of unheard of right now. But take us through that, man. How have you been able to be so good at that position?
It really just comes through preparation. I feel like the more you watch film and the more you, like, understand what, like, receivers are doing, and it's confidence. Like, you just go out there and do it. At the end of the day, you got to play football. So.
Right.
We were talking, too, he's got a lot of sacks from the cornerback position.
Like 4 or 5, right?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What was that? Like corner blitz?
Yeah,
like, you know, what?
Corner blitz. I mean, I can get on the edge if I need to.
All right, so not life on the line, but $100 on the line right now. Would you rather sack the quarterback or interception?
I'm getting an interception.
All right, I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
And that's crazy, too, because everything that we've heard about Matt House is he loves to blitz, loves to send a lot of guys. So, I mean, have you seen that already? I mean, look, don't give away trade secrets here on the podcast, but have you seen that different type of aggressiveness, especially in the secondary, coming up to the line and shooting through?
Yes, sir, I would say so.
Okay. Good at yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, the one-hitter quitter, you know?
Yeah, that's good. Jay, 2020 for this secondary, not great. Everybody is very well aware of that. 2021 was a little bit better, but still had its ups and downs. And everything, and you mentioned it earlier, that we had heard was communication. Guys aren't talking. Guys are having problems communicating. Is that better now? Is that better with that unit, with you guys getting in tune with how each other plays? Because there's so many new guys now. And there's so many new guys from all different types of programs and schemes coming into LSU. Has that been a huge focus this spring with Brian Kelly?
I say it's been a huge focus because, like, everybody in the secondary will communicate before the next play.
What is it about specifically the communication aspect of it? Is it just reads? Is it checks? Like, can you elaborate on what exactly what it means to communicate in the secondary?
Like, once you communicate, you know what your job is and what the person around you doing. So that helps us in a big factor.
Jay, there was a play last year, I think it was against Alabama, and you came from one hash to the other, saved the tackle for a touchdown. Alabama would wind up having a punt. Okay, then you guys would get the ball, take the lead. But there was something interesting about that because we talked to a couple LSU players, and they said that you like to talk a little trash. And I kind of saw it. I kind of saw it with you and Bama. I ain't gonna call it the name of the receivers. Jamison Williams was happy. But take us through that, man. You like to talk a little bit on the field? I mean, because I know that I did, but what about you?
Man, on the football field, I don't shut up. I like to try to get in wide receiver's head or make them mad because it'll throw them off their game.
So this is for the both of you. Is there a receiver that talks the most trash that y'all have gone up against? No, nobody.
Out-talk me.
Now I'm going to call him out. Jarrick, I know you're lying because you played in the Big 12 against Texas.
Yeah.
And those receivers talk all the time.
I ain't going to lie. Their whole core does. I'm not going to lie.
How do you I remember in 2019 with Texas, that was the whole leading up to that DBU. And I remember pregame, we got on the Longhorn and, did all that stuff. It didn't work out too well.
Shot a cannon through Burrow's jersey.
Didn't work out too well, but as DBs, I know you guys love that. You love to see cocky receivers come up and tell you, like, bro, you trash.
Don't make them live up to it. You got to show me I'm trash.
That's what I'm saying. You love, like, Jarrick, same thing. Like, you want it. You want guys to come and tell you how bad you are or how bad they think you are, right?
Well, look, I'm just going to say it, and it might be bad, but, I mean, you ever, like, get into it, though, with, like, you'd be like, hey, Jay, we get in this dude's head. We get in this dude's head. Keep chirping at him. Because, look, I'll be honest. I mean, when we see someone, on the field and we can see that we're getting in their head, we would always communicate like, hey, man, keep going after him. Mm-hmm. I mean, y'all say that too? Like, hey man, we got him. We got him. He shut down.
Yeah, but a guy like Jay, I mean, he gonna do it regardless.
I feel you. Jarrick, you talked about it being a big deal, not only coming to LSU but coming back home. And look, a couple of guys, Greg Brooks, Joe, and we talked about them. When you did go into the portal, though, I mean, a lot of people around LSU and Louisiana were kind of like waiting for you to make the announcement. It's kind of pins on needles. What was it for you, though? I mean, I know it's home, but it's a new regime. I'm pretty sure Coach Steeples was just hired and Coach Cook was just hired. But can you take us through that? What was the selling point, and did they really have to sell you much on coming back home?
I mean, it wasn't much because, I mean, it's LSU, it's DBU, but I just liked what they were telling me over the phone and what we got on the film and stuff like that. And it just seemed like they had principles that I believed in as well, so that helped my decision.
When you look at a guy like Coach Steeples, now, Jay, I know that you were with safeties, but when you look at a guy like Coach Steeples, I get that he was in high school, but a very crazy leap. I mean, and look, the Vikings coaching staff defensively is really, really good staff, and they've been known to be a really good staff. He was a part of that staff. Now he comes to LSU, and Brian Kelly has talked about wanting to hire Coach Steeples multiple times, even at Notre Dame, and now he gets a chance here. What was his selling point to you? And you're talking about philosophy, but I don't know if that's giving that away any trade secrets on philosophy about how they want to teach. But what was that communication like with him? Because, look, I mean, no one really knew Coach Steeples before he got here, really.
Mm-hmm. Well, we had numerous phone calls, like, in between the time that I actually, like, got down here. And he was just telling me, like, things that he believed in and things that he saw that he could help me with on and off the field. So that just really helped.
Jar, what's the portal like?
It's crazy.
And see, that's what I want to know, because we all have this misconception that as soon as dudes go in the portal, it's just phone calls. Is that how it is?
Yeah, it's real crazy. I mean, from the time I went in the portal, like, my phone did not stop ringing. I kid you not. Like, it was ringing all day. And I wanted to turn it off. I was like, it's too much for me. But it was crazy, and it was an experience. But, like, I had an idea of where I wanted to go, so that kind of helped. But I feel like if you go in and you don't know where you really want to go, then that's when the stress comes and the anxiety and all that.
Did LSU recruit you out of high school?
A little bit, not like a lot.
A little bit. So, I mean, in the back of your mind, had it always been, if you had the opportunity, you wanted to come back here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Because we're all, like I said, there's just so many misconceptions about the portal and how it works.
Right.
We think it's this mythical place where there's just a bunch of football players hanging out waiting for a phone call.
Well, it's the Doctor Strange, in-game. I feel like you were in a portal, you walk through the portal, and then you were like, hey, Doctor Strange, I want to make, and then he brings you back. That's what I thought.
Yeah, because is it similar to when you were in high school getting recruited?
It's similar, but I feel like it's more in the portal.
Like intense?
Yes, more intense.
Okay.
Because you don't have as much time.
Jay, you've been here for a while now, and Jarrick, this is your first year, or, I mean, how long have you been here? 4 months? 7 months?
Since January.
Jay, you've been here a while, and you kind of, or I don't want to call you the captain, I don't want to label you, but, you are the guy that's been here the longest, right? Do you take that role? Do you take that, like, hey, this is my defensive back room? Because, I mean, man, we've seen great LSU DBs do that in the past. I mean, we've seen new guys come in, but they've always been, Brandon Taylor's a guy that I played with, War number 18, right? Mm-hmm. And he was kind of that guy, like, hey, man, I might not be the flashiest of guys, but I am the captain out there. And so do you take that role or want to even have that role labeled on you, either it being right or wrong?
I mean, I ain't no, big speaker, but if I see something wrong, I'm going to speak up, most definitely. Or I give the young guys tips so we can help their game get better. But, me just going out there, being one of them talkers, speaking up, nah.
The wide receiver room is really good. You got Kayshon Boutte. I'm not going to go down a laundry list. I mean, there's 97 of them, right?
Yeah, for real.
But we've seen in the past, too, like Derek Stingley and Jamar Chase. We've seen Patrick Peterson going up against, a younger, sometimes, but a younger Odell, when he's kind of coming in and they start talking trash. what's that competition like day in, day out?
On the offense side, boy, you got some competitors. Like, we gonna go with it for sure. And, like, they ain't gonna back down from nothing. And they some playmakers, so they'll make a crazy play on you.
Is it difficult, and this is for both of you guys, and both of you can answer it. Is it difficult when you're going up against one guy? You know, like you might have Chris Hilton on one play, right? But then you turn around and you got Brian Thomas. You know, like how much – yeah, right. I mean, like how difficult is it from just one guy's going to try to get over the top, one guy can get physical if he really, really wanted to. How difficult is that to make that transition, play in and play out like that?
I mean, it's difficult for sure, but I mean, you just got to bring your best on every play. I mean, you got to be locked in.
With Kayshawn, with all these draft reports, you know, he's going to be a really, really high pick. But the one thing that is consistent with every report from every single outlet is his route running. Every single person says it's smooth. There's no wasted motion and stuff. Do you guys find that to be true? And do you guys, how much better does he make you going up against a guy like that that can do it all?
He's elite, for sure. I feel like going up against him, I mean, that only makes you better because he's one of the best considered to be. So I feel like that only helps. Smooth, too.
Smooth, yeah.
I'd see y'all better than me. I'd be like, hey, your mouthpiece fell up, snap. I'd be jamming him. I'd do anything I can, pushing him, holding him. You know, look, you don't get caught, you didn't break the rules. That's how I see it, man.
That's what I'm saying. And we came out there in spring, and there was one practice where we got to stay out there the entire time. And when y'all did red zone, that was the most fun I've had at an LSU practice since I've been here for 3.5 years.
Yeah, you started jawing. I think you had a pick in the end zone in practice. You started jawing. That's when I started asking, Matt. So you bring that practice up. That's when I started asking. It's like, damn, Jay. You're the man in red.
But yeah, I'm seeing him going up against dudes, and Greg Brooks going up against Kyron Lacey. You know, they're jawing, and Mekhi Garner going up against people, and I was so busy watching everything and like the conversations. You know, I just forgot to shoot. I got like the camera in my hand. I'm like, I want to put this down because this is. Is that how it is? Is that how it always has been? Is this new? Like, because that's intense, and I don't know if y'all are putting on from the cameras, but you know, it was good. It was good TV.
Nah, that's like an everyday thing.
Every day.
Was it a new thing? Like, is it just starting now, or is it ever since you've been here it's been like that?
Ever since I've been here.
Mm-hmm. Is that ever since you've been here from the DBs, like y'all all the time bring that energy?
I ain't gonna say not every DB like that. You got some that be quiet and their game just speak for itself.
Mm-hmm. We were talking about this. You're talking about being a leader. You're talking about being one of the older guys. How old is Todd Harris? Can we get an official age on Plaquemine legend Todd Harris?
I think Todd 23. Did
he say 43 or did he say 23?
I'm not in this. You ain't gonna put me in this. I got a family to raise.
No, I love Todd Harris because he is one of those guys. He came in with Miles. Miles is sixth year.
Yeah, 6th year.
Jay's older, Todd Harris. Like, there are a lot of dudes that have played a lot of football. You know, do you need that on a team to, like, how is that leadership process? Are those leadership skills different from guy to guy like that?
You most definitely need that on a team. Like, Todd can tell me something I ain't know or never seen because he been here longer than me, and he know more stuff than me. So that's somebody you got to respect in the room and depend on when it comes to things like that.
Because that dude has been through it.
Yeah.
That dude has been through it. ACL, shoulder. I mean,
Yeah.
I would argue he's one of the toughest dudes on the team.
Oh, I'm not.
One of the toughest dudes on the team. Do you?
No doubt.
Is he a mental toughness guy? Is he like a guy that you go to when adversity hits? Hey, how do you handle this or go through it? Or is he just the fact that he's that upright and out on that field walking around is an inspiration to everybody?
I mean, Todd done been through it all. He done been the man of the room, and he been down bad from an injury. He's somebody you definitely can depend on and go talk to.
It's funny, though. I mean, not just talking about the DBs and wide receivers anymore. This defense, man, on paper, okay, and I'm not trying to, boost you guys up, but on paper, up front, you got a lot of talented dudes. Mason Smith, Jaquelin Roy, BJ, Ali. I mean, the list goes on. I get on Mike Jones all the time, like, who? Mike Jones. I mean, look – people forget what Mike Jones did at Clemson.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of pick sixes, a lot of tackles, and then you got you guys in the DB room. I don't want to say what's the message, but what's the goal, man? I mean, you got a lot of NFL dudes on that team. When y'all see, like, Mason Smith, I mean, I go out there and like, Jesus, man, this guy,
freak.
I mean, he's a freak. Does that give you guys a bolt of confidence? Like, hey, man, this guy might got to step on me right now, but quarterback's got to get the ball away because we got Jaqualine Roy, Mason Smith, and BJ right there.
I believe with them coming to get you, it'll be a lot of bad balls thrown, and then when we come in and play.
Well, we talk about that. We were talking right before we started. I mean, 6 rushing yards against Alabama last year. And look, man, I've talked to a couple of guys that were on that staff and some guys that were going into the draft and are still a part of that team. And they talked about, Jay, like, hey, man, that was the toughest game we played all year. Now, that's Alabama who went up against Georgia twice, right? And they're giving y'all that credit. When you hear something like that, does that be like, hey, man, like it's a respect thing? I mean, they know that we're coming day in, day out.
Yeah, like, we know when we play Bama, we go get their best and they go get our best. Like, that's for sure. That's week in and week out against any SEC team.
Mm-hmm. Two good dudes, man.
Two really
Undefeated, 15-0. You guys said it right here. I'm just messing. They didn't say that. That's on me.
One of my main things too is I want to know the attention to detail with Brian Kelly. What is this? We ask everybody, and everybody's got a different story. Is the attention to detail as serious as we've heard it is?
Yeah, it is. Very. Like, all the little things, we must do all the little things.
I was telling, we had, was it Joe Sloan or it was somebody? Yeah. I was out at practice in the indoor, and we were up top on, above shooting or whatever. It was a rain practice, and I was on Brian Kelly, and he's just observing, and I saw him get laser focused on something, and I'm like, oh, somebody's getting ready to get chewed out. So I'm ready to go. And he's got that, he just beelines right towards the end of the field, and he just bends down and picks up a Snickers wrapper, puts it in his pocket, walks to the other side of the field, and continues to observe. And I'm like, this man got intent, it's ready to kill somebody, that look in his eye over a Snickers wrapper. I mean, is that the type of stuff? There's no detail too small. There's no thing that is not important or minute for this team.
Everything is important, and like, you must do everything right. All the little things add up once you get to the end.
Jace, or Jarrick, same question for you. What's the attention to detail for him? I mean, you're coming from, y'all won a lot of games last year. Coming from Oklahoma State to LSU with Brian Kelly.
It's for sure been more of a focus on like attention to detail and the little things and just holding yourself accountable. Because you have to lead yourself every day, and he tells us that all the time. Nobody's going to do it for us. You got to do it.
So Brian Kelly is considered one of the best coaches in college football. Look, he even has more wins than Nick Saban as a head coach. When he comes in and he's doing some of the things he's doing, like the SWAT team thing, right? We've talked to a lot of guys about the SWAT team, and it seems to be pretty competitive. 2 questions for you guys, though. But whose SWAT team are y'all on? Are you leading your own? And what's that like, competing against each other like that with these SWAT teams?
I have my own team, so I'm a leader.
Who's on your team?
Will Campbell, Kyron Lacey, Kobe Fields, guys like that.
It's a good group.
Yeah.
What about you, Jay?
I'm on Makai Gardner team.
Okay, who's on that team?
It's me, BJ, Desmond Little, John Emery.
Oh, so y'all got like the speed.
Speed.
Y'all got the speed. Okay.
We got the best team.
Y'all got the speed. Yeah, Mike was telling us that Quincy Wiggins, he's got Quincy on his team, and he's like, bro, stop. Like, you can't be that big and have that many abs, bro. Like, you got to stop, being built out of a lab. But how intense does that get, though, with those SWAT teams when you are competing day in, day out like that?
It gets pretty competitive, especially on Wednesdays.
Why on Wednesdays?
That's when we do the team competition days.
Okay.
So.
What are some of the things y'all do, though? We saw some of the videos like tug of war and sprints and all that kind of stuff. What has been the best or funnest thing that y'all have done in all that?
I say tug of war.
Yeah, sure.
Who won that? Whose team won that?
My team won.
Oh, okay. Will Campbell and who? Kobe Fields, Jarrick
Bernard-Converse.
Cardell. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see how you pick. I see how you pick. Is this like the LeBron, Giannis NBA All-Star game? Like, are y'all picking who are on y'all's teams? Or they?
Yeah, they pick.
Yeah, y'all pick. Okay. Okay.
We get drafted.
Let me find out who y'all pick number 1 overall. Let me find out.
Give me just an overall feeling going into this year. There are so many big games, not just in the SEC slate, but when you kick off the year against Florida State in New Orleans, and then you go to Southern.
57 days away.
Which is going to be the biggest party that Baton Rouge has ever seen. Ever seen.
No doubt.
I'll be honest, and I have no problem saying, I don't care about the game. I care about the tailgate.
Well, and the band.
Am I wrong?
What's going to happen if Southern's band plays neck in the middle of the game?
Oh, boy.
They don't get fined?
Oh, boy. That's actually a good point.
Marshawn Lynch, I'm just here so I won't get fined. Southern says, hold my beer. They're about to play neck. Bro, you know that game? It was the first game, Matt, and we've talked to a lot of guys, too, about this. They're really looking forward to that Southern game. You know, and just because, man, there's those certain games when that band starts hitting. It starts popping. Is that a game y'all looking forward to, too?
I'm looking forward to every game.
Everyone.
I got you.
How many dudes are going to sneak out of the halftime speech to go watch Southern's band play during that game? How many? I feel like there are going to be some.
Coach, I forgot my helmet.
Oh, yeah, I forgot my helmet. Mouthpiece out there just chilling.
Coach, my mom's got a Gatorade. You know?
Who was it? Was it the Bengals kicker during the Super Bowl who went out and watched the halftime show?
Oh, yeah. He was just sitting there. He goes, that's Dr. Dre.
That's awesome.
Know?
Yeah.
Doctor.
And I think, too, that Southern game, it just means so much for not only Baton Rouge, Louisiana, HBCU football, college football in general. This game is long overdue to be done.
No doubt. And, Jarrick, I know you're from Louisiana, and I know that Matt and Jay, Georgia and North Carolina, respectfully, but, I know that it's a big thing for people in Louisiana, man. I don't remember ever being alive when LSU and Southern played one another, and I think that it's we see what Deion's doing with HBCUs, fantastic, and so I think it's a big deal. Like when I played it, at the FCS level, it's a big deal to come in and walk into Tiger Stadium. People don't understand the emotions, because you're lowly recruited, nobody talks to you a lot, and so when you walk in there is that chip on your shoulder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we talked about Fletcher Cox a lot. Shout out to my guy Fletcher, but it's a big deal, man. And I think that for you guys, and you talked about coming back, wanting to be back at home, it's a big deal.
Yeah, especially for Southern, who's going to have a new coach.
Right.
Who's kind of doing their own rebranding of a program with Eric Dooley, who I think is going to do fantastic. I really don't care about the game. I care about the tailgate.
Yeah, and there's, I'm going to leave that one alone.
I'm not saying it's bad.
We can't be on cable TV telling you what I'm going to be doing before the game. You know what I mean?
I might be with you.
That's true. Guys, last one for me, though. Do y'all see, Brian Kelly is taking a lot of heat. And I know block out the noise and don't look at it, but he's kind of been a poster child for taking a lot of heat for everything LSU. Do you see that, though, and be like, man, he doesn't say anything. He just keeps working. Like, when you see it on social media, because you can't help but not see it sometimes, do you see that and just be like, Coach, we got you?
Once I see it, like, they ain't going to be on the field with us, so I don't care what others think. So.
Like Drake said, you wouldn't want me shooting in the gym. Yeah. I like it. It's the
really?
one.
Drake reference stuff?
I'm just letting you know. Jarrick, what about you?
I'd say the same thing with him. They're just on Twitter or wherever online just talking, but they're not actually suiting up to go play. They don't know what it takes to actually go out there and play a game. So,
how many of y'all rip on Brian Kelly for his dance moves? Is that brought up, like, at all?
I don't think so.
Jay just sitting there like, I don't say nothing.
I don't think so.
But yeah, you see my man hit the gritty? Like, come on, what's this? Coach.
And I appreciate the honesty that Brian Kelly had, because he's like, I don't understand why everybody got so worked up about that. Were y'all just as confused as we were why everybody was like, what is this dude doing? Like, he's having fun.
Yeah,
If
like-
Saban does that, it's like the greatest thing ever. Or if anybody, other coach, Lane Kiffin or whatever, oh, that's the greatest thing ever. But Brian Kelly does it, it's like, oh, that's weird. Like, were you guys confused during that whole time like we were?
Man,
I was.
What you confused for? Like, he's recruiting.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you got to get players like you guys to come on your campus and play to win.
Yeah.
If you say, Coach, I'm with, you know, and you're in there, you know, like the Harold Perkins thing. I mean, Harold Perkins is coming in there doing the gritty. I mean, he says, Coach, do it with me. That's a 5-star linebacker. You know, I mean, yeah, I'm going to hit the gritty alongside with you, man.
Yeah, and again, look, he can gritty, he can two-step, he can do the worm.
He can do the stanky leg and not watch the leg for 4 weeks for all I care.
Whatever he's doing is working. Because we've seen over the past week, they are rolling in by the droves.
You guys talking about seeing things. Jaylen Brown just committed, 5-star kid from Miami. Do you, when you know, because I think some of you guys host recruits and stuff like that. When you see that and the guy that you host commits, I mean, what's that like for an older, you know, guys that have been on the team for a long time and kind of passing the legacy down? Does that, because you guys, I mean, look, y'all were just in that situation not too long ago, and now you're on the opposite side of it. What's that like?
Jay's undefeated, so.
Jay's
I feel like,
undefeated.
yeah.
So Jay, if you're a host, everybody comes here?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest, man. You're the Ed Orgeron of recruiting. You know, like that would be what they call you.
Yeah, what's your record?
I'm 2-0 right now.
2-0? Okay, that's pretty good.
Brian Kelly.
This guy.
So let me ask you, like, when that happens, and being a part of that, I mean, any of you guys, like, maybe after your career, thought about doing coaching or anything like that? Getting in, like, staying around football after y'all's NFL career? No. You don't want nothing to do with it, Jay?
I thought about it, but I don't know. I'm like Jay, probably not.
So what is it? So what's life after football? Like, what are you guys interested in after, you know, the cleats are hung up?
I want to be a vet, so that's like my main goal.
Veterinarian?
Yes, sir.
Oh, okay. Man.
So LSU does have a pretty big vet program. I know that, you know, do you do anything with them now?
A little work here and there whenever I can get some free time.
Go ahead. What's your favorite animal?
Tiger.
Speaking of that, yeah,
Smart
that's what I have to ask. That's what,
Smart
you go in there with Mike, be like, "What's up, dog? What's up, bro?"
I wish I did, but I stay away. He's a little,
Yeah.
Jay, what does life after football look like for you?
I still don't know yet.
Don't know. What do you think you want to do? What are you interested in? What's your major? Number one.
I got a minor in business, kinesics, and communication.
Damn. Ooh, doing it all. Okay.
Can you file my taxes, man?
Yeah, for real.
I mean, damn.
Mine too, please. We good? Anything else? What are we missing?
Good
Gotta
luck,
be- gotta be
guys.
something. Yeah, absolutely.
Good luck. I mean, look, Jay, I've been, you know, we've been covering you for a while, you know, and just to see how far you've come. I mean, man, it from our vantage point, you know, when we see you in recruiting, then we see you here and see you there, and then see you do things like interceptions, and it's fun to watch, man. It's really fun. I appreciate you coming to Jarrick. 46 straight, man. You got to live it up, bro.
Yes, sir.
Another 15. I just need another 15 from you, bro. Another 15. That's all I need.
All right, thanks, guys. We'll catch you next time.